Boom! This better work. Today's class or YouTube Live. I'm not going to redo this one. I got 1 hour to explain to you that everything you've been learning was a lie when it comes to Daygame products. The reason why it doesn't work for other dating coaches is because you're using the mentor mentality. You believe that if they can do it, you can do it. But you never thought about mentors versus coaches versus teachers. So I'm going to bust this myth for you. Like I said, I only got 1 hour to do this. So everything you were told is a lie. So don't worship dating coaches. If you want to get laid fast without using alcohol in Daygame and using that in the bedroom, wrestling with drunk women, New Delhi grape game, or I should call it Rajasthan grape game, because Rajasthan seems to beat New Delhi these days. So that's the new name for it. This type of game, wrestling with drunk women using romantic sexual, is not legal, technically speaking. Also, it causes Stockholm syndrome where the women sides with their captors. So do you want to get laid faster, even using Daygame products like mine, online training, without depending on a boot camp? You don't have to depend on this mentor mentality because it's mental. The mentor mentality is like, oh, you trade places with the other person. If they get results, you get results, and all of this bullshit, one after another. But you can't figure out, no matter how many times you benchode, like the benchode Indians, who basically has this death stare, and they always follow these dating coaches. They never, ever get results. No matter how hard they try, they always fail. And they don't know why they're failing. They believe that if they follow the mentor, they'll get results. But I'm not a mentor, I'm a coach. I had a Pakistani mentor, and he doesn't know how to teach anything. That's why it's very important to not depend on this mentor mentality. And I, as a teacher, I have 569 LAPO testimonials. We could go through all of them, but I don't have time. I really do not have time to go through every single lay testimonial. You just have to go check out my testimonial page. So what's the difference between and which one's better for you? It really depends. So watch this Daygame YouTube Live video now, and you'll get all the details where you can quickly get laid faster for Daygame. And you can check out the pinned YouTube comments. Like and subscribe. So this is the mentor myth. If you can do it, I can do it automatically for Daygame. That is false. That is false. My Pakistani mentor. Hey, Marco, what's up? Yeah. So basically, my Pakistani mentor is the best Daygamer in the world that I know. I've never seen anyone like him. He's actually banging Andrew Late's kind of girlfriends that they have without using all that New Delhi grape game. Rajasthan these days. Rajasthan's worse than New Delhi, but he's not doing that. He's just completely using social skills and social calibrations as a Pakistani guy. So therefore, but he's a mentor. That's why I call my Pakistani mentor. It does not automatically mean he knows how to teach me. He says, John, go look at me and try to study me. Like this is a zoo and this is a habitat. Try to study what I'm doing and try to reverse engineer it for your students. So therefore, my Pakistani mentor, even though he is the best Daygamer, is kind of like learning from Elon Musk. They can only give you a few tips here and there. They're not good at coaching. So the idea is that the product never works for you. Whenever you try to benchode it, like the benchode Indians, and they start worshiping, they never, ever get laid. Ever. So they always get funneled into a boot camp. So I'm going to explain the difference between a mentor, a dating coach, and a teacher. So let's begin, okay? I wrote down a few notes here. So let me get to it, okay? I have to go quickly. I got less than 1 hour before I teach an inner circle class. So the teacher versus the coach versus mentor. Why mentors are not always the most transferable. Teacher means is all theory, basically. When you look at a teacher in your university and he's teaching you how to do marketing and sales and all this internet stuff, he may not actually have any experience. So that is what they call a teacher. Teacher are just theory junkies, much like what you find on these forum groups where everyone has their own fucking theories. This is not the most transferable thing. So don't think that is the best way of getting things done. Okay? So, one second. All right. I'm just switching the camera angles. I have two webcams, but let's not get off track here. I want to give you some different camera angles so you can kind of, yeah. All right, cool. So basically, teachers means is all theories. A coach means is something like somebody who has experience, but still can coach you step by step. They can build training programs, which I'm very good at. I have the experience. I have like over 22 years of experience in Daygame. I started in 2001. You know, a mentor or versus a dating coach. A dating coach does not have to be the best PUA in the world. He just has to be the best dating coach in the world. Look at Mayweather, for example. His team. His father teaches him, his uncle teaches him. They don't have to be the best boxers in the world. They have to be good enough. But they can transfer that skills by coaching Mayweather Jr. to have 50-0. So therefore, this idea is that, oh, but if you can do it, I can do it. They may be using game crutches. That's why you're always stuck. So a mentor is somebody who's doing it, but they're the least transferable. Because like my Pakistani mentor was saying, observe me, try to extract the lessons. So here are a few tips, but he can't teach it. Steve Jobs, they asked him exactly what does he do, right? Steve, you're not the best programmer in Apple. You are not the best at anything. And then you know what Steve Jobs said? I think it was in a movie. I'm not sure if it's a real quote. Steve Jobs says this. He isn't the best programmer, right? Steve Jobs says musicians play their instruments. I play the orchestra. I'll say this again. Musicians or mentors plays their instruments. They're like, look at me. I'm the best violin player, right? You can only learn from me. I'm the best violin player. I'm playing this violin. I'm the best. I'm the best. I'm the best. But I conduct the orchestra. I literally run the wars of all my students like a general. That's what Steve Jobs meant when he says, you know, musicians play their instruments. I play the orchestra. It means I'm the general. I'm the general. They're just good soldiers, a good musician playing their instruments. Who gives a fuck? So they're like, look at me. I'm a mentor. I'm a mentor. Woo! But you never ever get laid in their products. You always get stuck. You wonder, how come every product you buy? Because you have this mentor mentality. They can do it. You can do it. But that's the wrong mentality. Can they coach you? The only time they can ever get you results is in their boot camps, never in their products. Have you noticed that? It's not a coincidence. How come people dropped off? Do not drop off now. This is the most important part. I only got 1 hour. So for the ones who are still listening, they're good soldiers. So they're playing a small part of the instruments. But it doesn't mean shit because sometimes a good example is like Phil Jackson versus Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was using New Delhi grape game, or what they call Rajasthan grape game. And Kobe Bryant cannot coach a team to victory. Well, everyone dropped off. What the fuck? Just want to try and make an important point. Phil Jackson is not the best basketball player in the world, but he is sure the best coach in the world. He is the best coach in the world for Phil Jackson. So therefore, you can't discount Phil Jackson and say, Kobe Bryant this. The reason why I say my mentor or my Pakistani mentor is Michael Jordan is because he is the best. For a guy with a darker complexion, he's banging like 9 out of 10s like Andrew Late's girlfriends all the time. He did that 15 times in a row. And all the women looked at me and they scoffed. They're like, ugh, when they saw me in the mansion. So while he can do it, it doesn't mean he can teach me how to do it, but he can mentor me. He can give me tips. He can answer real-time questions, just like Elon Musk. Elon Musk is not a teacher, but I'm a teacher. So I can learn from him, field test a split test, and then give it to you guys. And then you guys get results. You see where I'm going with this? Sometimes a coach is better than a teacher, but that's like bro science, you know? It's like bro science. It's like, I'm only going to listen to a mentor who's able to get a lot of muscles. Let's say that you say that, the bro science, the guy takes steroids, and you're like, oh, I can only listen to him. It's the same thing as listening to other dating coaches. I can only listen to the steroid guy. But in reality, that guy is cheating, just like New Delhi grape game, or they're using status maxing. That's why it never works for you, except for their boot camps once in a while, but it never works for their products. It's a complete lie. Because this mentor mentality, that guy takes steroids, and it's like, oh, he looks strong, therefore I will listen to him, and then you ignore your doctor, who's more like the teacher. Your doctor may not be necessarily strong, but he can still give good advice regarding your health. He'd probably tell you not to take steroids. Do you see where I'm going with this? The mentor versus the coach versus the teacher. You got to find out which one works for you at any given situation. Sometimes in life, for your health problems, maybe a doctor might be better, or a nutritionalist, right? He may not look like the youngest person. He may not be the strongest person, but he might give the best advice. Whoever gets you the most results is the most important. Oh, but I want a mentor. That's the problem with mentors, is because a lot of guys who are Indians need to bench hold and worship. They need to worship so hard because in their mindset, that's why they're stuck. Year after year, they're stuck. They never get results, and they're always funneled into a boot camp. So let me explain further so you guys get it. So when they use New Delhi grape game, it's like, it's not the best way of doing things. So anyone who says like only they can teach it with this mentor myth is just full of shit. Ask yourself why their Daygame products never works, ever. Have you ever wondered? You bought so many products, their products have came out during this inflation, and their products have not inflation, but the products have come out during the recession, or not recession, pandemic, COVID pandemic. Somehow, when they released their products, nobody got laid. And you're wondering, how is that possible? Because they're the mentor. So they already demonstrate their products don't work. So now they always come out with a new product. I always have the same products because they work. They're evergreen. They last forever. They're having what they call a launch product. Launches versus evergreen. Evergreen means for the rest of my life, these products always work. For them, the evergreen or the launch products never works. They always launch a new product. Oh, but they promise to give you the secret. There's no secret. It's just New Delhi grape. They wrestle with drunk women in the bedroom. So you learn that in the boot camps. Therefore, you never get laid. There is no secret sauce. The game is only 2.5 points. You're just regurgitating and doing the same fucking 2.5 points over and over and over again. So therefore, you never get laid. I know this is not what you want to hear. That's why people are dropping off, because it's too real talk. So why do they always use game crutches like New Delhi grape game? Or the students wrestling with drunk women? They will never show that in the video. Even if they show all the subtitles, they'll never show at that bedroom when their students have a champagne bottle next to them, just like their old infields. That is what it's like, illegally winning the game. Illegally. It's just like brute forcing it right at the bedroom. That means everything before the New Delhi grape does not technically work right before that point. I hope I got that point across. So therefore, you're always stuck because the alcohol crutch or the status maxing crutch is not technically, like, for example, let's say they're using Instagram, okay? A lot of coaches are doing this. Not just one. I would say dozens or maybe, several dozen coaches these days in Red Pill believes in status maxing. Let's say they use an Instagram close because they have more status. They display their status, but at that point of the number close with the Instagram, everything before that point does not work without it, because that's the conversion mechanism. When you take away that Instagram, all the advice before that will not work. Just like in the bedroom, when they're using the alcohol New Delhi grape game crutch right in the bedroom, everything before the polling, everything before the Insta date, everything before, the day game, none of it works by itself. That's why their products do not work. Are you guys starting to see this? Give it a thumbs up if you're getting enlightened. I'm revealing the secrets of the industry, why it keeps going in a circle. It's a circle of death, a downward spiral, where everybody just keeps failing because they're not using the alcohol crutch. And some of you cannot actually run this status maxing game. I have students who are engineers who are on vacation, but they can only go for 2 weeks. Just for 2 weeks. They cannot raise their high status job. They're not like a DJ, a club promoter. They're not like some kind of high status music producer. They have none of these status. They're a fucking engineer. And afterwards, you got to think about the lifestyle. How much of a lifestyle can they do? They can't have women twerking in their fucking Instagram, because the people at their jobs, their bosses are like, what the fuck is this? They'll get in trouble at work. So therefore, they can't run that. And then the status advantage. Some of my Indian students are really like 2 out of 10 Indians. They're not like 4 out of 10 whitewash Indians. So therefore, they cannot run that stuff. The race is not on their side. They don't even look like black men. Some Indians look black. So therefore, they have 8 out of 10 perceived natural status, which pose her all the way home in the bedroom. They wrestle with her New Delhi grape game, brute force it illegally, Andrew Late style, and then they claim that they're good. They have game. They have zero game. If you're wrestling in the bedroom, you have zero game. That's the conversion mechanism. Does that make sense? So this mentor mentality may not necessarily be transferable. That's why you learn it in their boot camps. I know this is not what you want to hear, but here's the truth. That's the problem with status maxing. So let me talk about the second hidden secret. Okay. Like I said, I have 569 LAPO testimonials, so I know what I'm talking about. The very second thing is that, I just bear with me. I wrote some notes here. Here's the first secret. All right. You think that if they can do it, you can do it. But in reality, their Daygame products doesn't work at all. They already released their products during the pandemic. So right now, they're probably going to release a second product, and they're promising you more of the, I'm going to review more of the secrets. I know all their secrets. It's all alcohol. All the other stuff, if you take away the alcohol, does not work. Maybe their 6 months program. You play the game long enough, you might eventually get late, but it does not work. So that therefore, the Bencho Indians, the ones who are worshipping, always gets fucked up the ass. I mean, think about it this way. If I was really so wrong, and let's say all of you Bencho Indians, different than the Enlightened Indians. Enlightened Indians are my students. These are the guys who are very smart. They understand, they're wise up to this whole situation. They know when they're being fucked over. So therefore, they're not stupid. But the Bencho Indians are the guys with the death stare, the eyes split in two different directions. They're cheap. They worship like a fucking sheep. Bencho Indians. They have to worship, say bye, B-H-A-I, bye, means older brother. They believe that this person they're worshiping is actually their older brother. It doesn't even look like them. It looks like a Negro. Second of all, they're wrestling with her in the bedroom. Of course, these Bencho Indians are like, what's wrong with wrestling with the bedroom? Isn't that bedroom escalation, John? As they look at me with crazy eyes. No, it's called illegal New Delhi, Rajasthan grape game. You are not allowed to wrestle with the women. It means she is not converted yet in the bedroom. If you're wrestling with drunk women, she's not converted, Andrew Late style. You're trying to turn her out by creating this Stockholm syndrome. Then she will like fucking, once she submits and have sex because the guy is wrestling with her, because they say, oh, romantic sexual, this guy's boyfriend material. So she'll submit, turn into a relationship, but she will go through Stockholm syndrome where she sides with the captor. The captor will be holding her hostage. This New Delhi Rajasthan grape game. Rajasthan is the New Delhi. I look at the stats. They have more rape, even with minors over there. It's like a portal to hell, even worse than New Delhi. New Delhi is like third place now. So things have changed. I look at the stats. So having said that, if it only works, right? During the pandemic, their products not work. And now during inflation, it's not going to work either. Because it funnels you into boot camps. The reason you are stuck is simple. They are using game crutches. New Delhi grape game. Sure, you have to maneuver, you have to sexualize it, and you got to deal with objections. That's true, right? We all know that. Let me switch the camera angle. Okay. You all know that right here. And you all know that. Where they pull women home to maneuver. Also, to deal with the objections, they get her drunk as fast as possible. They use vodka and Pepsi. So they pour the women's glass over and over. They'll just keep pouring more and more into her glass because they believe that if they mix it with Pepsi and vodka and they keep pouring and then pouring and pouring and wrestling, she's going to get drunk faster because half of it's Pepsi and the other half is vodka. Vodka is strong, has a high alcohol content. The Pepsi is sweet, so it's easier to drink. That's what they do. Or they have a champagne. It always needs an alcohol. This is why Indians are always stuck, because now they believe there is no way to get any results during Daygame unless they use alcohol or status maxing. But there's a third funnel that works, which is what I can teach you as a coach. The third funnel is all of you Indian guys have a friend who is actually good with women. He has a rectangular jawline. He has good social skills. He's a very nice guy, and he has no problems whatsoever. He's probably married to a white girl. You all have that Indian friend, but that's exactly what I teach. Body language, social calibrations, social skills, emotional control or chillness, and whitewash tonality. You always have that friend. So there's actually 3 funnels. It's not just fucking game funnel like London Daygame or romantic sexual shit. It's not always status maxing. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you want a status max, but it only works for 1% of the population. It does not work for you. Okay? So if it works for 1% of the population, the word is not transferable. This damn Brazilian kind of game, right? And why would you need night game? Not all of you are like club promoters or anything related to that. You don't own a nightclub. You don't have any status. So why would you do that? It's impossible for you to do it because you have obligations in your job. You will have to be an entrepreneur to make that work. And you need at least 6 figures to 7 figures to run that kind of lifestyle. That is the truth, and you all know it. But there's a third funnel my Pakistani mentor does. He dresses whitewashed, number 1. Number 2, he talks like a white guy. Even if you have an Indian accent, if you talk whitewash like I will teach you, then you can bypass her defenses because she cannot actually think you're Indian if she cannot match the accent with the stereotype, the 2 out of 10 Indians. If you look like the 4 out of 10 whitewash Indians, then therefore your status goes up. It's that simple. Good body language, this, that. In close, I have so many Indian students getting laid in Daygame. This is not a coincidence. There is a third funnel that you guys are not aware of. That's what my Pakistani mentor taught me, a mentor. But I'm a coach. I'm a dating coach. And I'm good at what I do. I'm the general. I'm not the soldier. I'm the guy who plays the orchestra. I run like all these students, all their game in my mind like a general. They're fighting their own wars. But instead, you want to listen to that fucking musician say, I'm a good musician. I'm a mentor. That's mental. I'm a mentor. I'm a good musician. Therefore, I'm the only one who can teach it. How well, fuck you. Your products don't work. I mean, think about it this way. How many products would they release until they give you the solution? How many products? I only released 2 products and they work. They have proven to work during the whole, before the pandemic, during the pandemic, lockdown 1, lockdown 2, variant Delta, variant Omicron, inflation. Their stuff does not work for most of them for the products. In fact, they have 0 track record of it working for any of it. They have less than 5 day game lay testimonials. We're not talking about mixing with a night game component because that is not actually day game. That's a setup game, damn Brazilian. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that. If you guys can do it, have a lot of energy. I just don't think it's transferable. I mean, it's cool that they can do it, but can other people do it? All right. So this is what I'm trying to say. As you're dealing with objections, you try to get as drunk as possible with vodka and Pepsi. And they call it bedroom escalation to sexualize it. This is illegal. So that's what you'd be doing in their boot camps. That's why their day game products are a total waste of time. Other crutches you see is status maxing, as you know, but it just, I mean, how many of you can do it? I can't even do it. I don't have the energy. I'm not an extrovert. And Red Pill has been using this status maxing. It's very popular, like Andrew Late. Let's talk about the third thing because I have to go very, very soon. I have a class to teach at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Right now it's 5:14. I just hope I'm making good enough time. The last hidden secret is you believe boot camps are the only options to get laid in Daygame, but you are being taken for a ride because time and time again, their Daygame products do not actually work. But you get so stuck, so you start to blame yourself like a good bench-holding sheep. That's right. Switch the cameras again. All right, cool. Like a good bench-holding sheep, you get burnt. You think this mentor mentality, this musician who's good at music, I'm playing the orchestra. You all need the general to get you laid faster because I have 569 lay poll testimonials. Then you say to yourself, well, what's wrong with you? You need a boot camp because you blame yourself. If you don't get laid during the products because you're worshiping like a sheep and you're bench-holding, since you don't get laid, you're like, well, if the coach can do it, I can do it. This mentor mentality bullshit. Not this dating coach, but they say they're a good dating coach. Well, divide my day game lay testimonials versus theirs. We'll see who's actually a better coach. My stuff works even for the products, but you have to do the 30-day challenge. My stuff works for online coaching, 3MP. It works. Their stuff don't fucking work. There's 6 months to misery. Maybe like over a long term, you might number game it. It barely works. Then you go in their boot camps as they extract more money out of you. It's much like an Andrew Late concept. Famous the goose, famous the geese. Famous the goose, famous the geese. Famous the goose means like First of all, you got to turn a person into a goose. You got to turn them out. That's why the products, they make you worship, even though it's completely illegal using New Delhi or Rajasthan grape game. Totally illegal, by the way. So that's number one. You cannot get a woman drunk and wrestle with her and turn out like a Stockholm syndrome. New Delhi grape, famous the goose. Just like their products are going to famous you. It's not going to work. They're going to famous the goose. Afterwards, let me move back. This camera moves with me. That's pretty cool, right? They're going to famous the geese. That's the boot camp. Famous the goose, famous the geese. So they'll fatten up the sheep. They'll keep feeding you more and more bullshit with half-truth pill. They'll tell you bullshit lies. Follow the money. Don't listen to what they say. Look at what they do. They'll declare out of nowhere that they don't like money. I don't like money. I just want to retire. Blah, blah, blah. And the bentro sheeps are like, with their sociopathic eyes, they're like, oh, yes, buy, BHAI, buy. They're stupid. It's easy to fool them. Literally everything that they tell you is a lie. 99%. Just like, well, can you prove what? Everything's a lie. How they got into a different country from a different place is a lie. They say, oh, yeah, because they applied like many times. No, they got married and they got her pregnant. It's that fucking simple. They pay child support. They have a son. Who am I speaking about? Nobody. But I'm just saying, that's already a lie right there. Everything's a lie. How they meet their girlfriend? They will never show you that it didn't work out. And then later on, they fucked her friend, and then afterwards they converted her because they didn't use alcohol that time, so it didn't work. All the other short-term girlfriends are all alcohol. Everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. Always alcohol. Social circle game. They just meet social circle, convert. They never tell you the truth. It's all a lie. Everything's a lie that comes out of their mouth. The half truth. But the benchodes, because they just have to say, oh, here's my lay count. But how much alcohol can you get into women? You can't get 800 fucking glasses into her. That's fucking bullshit. And also, when they have a girlfriend, they're not approaching. They'll say yes, the girlfriend allows them. They'll tell you whatever lie. It's not true. They'll never allow that because it's fucked up. So therefore, everything about their authority is a lie. It's all alcohol. It's almost illegal. Borderline New Delhi, Rajasthan grape game. Literally in the bedroom, when you wrestle with her, she submits. And the Bencho Indians are like, what's wrong? It's bedroom escalation. Because they're sociopaths. My students are called the enlightened Indians. They get it. They have the Benchoed Indians who are just sociopathic eyes like this. They just stare like this nonstop, but they're sociopath eyes. Intensity. Right? As that person's eyes split when they're telling you all this bullshit. It just splits in two different directions. Now they change the camera angle so you can't see it. But that's a sadistic, dark tetrad, sociopathic eyes. The Pennywise eyes. So they just gaslight you. Everything they say is bullshit. Follow the money. They start making fun of other coaches. Let's say London Daygame, hypothetically. They're trying to separate London Daygame because they know the students, the Indians, will go there. It's not about that they want to talk badly about London Daygame. It's more like they're systematically turning you out. They're going to famous the goose. They fatten you up with bullshit lies. Then they say, here's the secret to their products. They're the mentors. And then afterward, they'll turn you up. Then you don't get results. That's what's happening. So this mentor mentality says, you always say to yourself, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? You said if you don't get results, then there must be something wrong with you because they can do it. But that's the wrong mindset. Mentors versus coaches versus teachers. Teachers are just theory junkies. Coaches, they've done it. They don't have to be the best, like Mayweather Jr.'s father and uncle, but they're good enough. And then you have the mentors. But the mentor is not always the only option. According to the Benchodes, is the only option. It is not the only option. You can also get a good dating coach like me with 569 LAPO testimonials, the general, the guy who runs the orchestra, not just the guy who's playing the instrument, who claims he's good. Who gives a fuck? You want results, right? Do you want to worship or do you want to get laid? If you want to worship, you're just going to be funneled into a fucking boot camp every single time. So that's why you're stuck. So you blame yourself. But you should not blame yourself. I'm giving you what they're doing. I'm telling you exactly. The reason you're stuck is because of this mentor myth mentality. You're literally mentally trapped. They say things like, oh, only they can teach it because, well, that's not true. A coach can be just as effective as a mentor. So it all depends on the late testimonials. They don't have any for their products. That's a fact. It just doesn't fucking work. Ask yourself, Bencho Indians, how many of their Daygame products have you bought? All of them, right? How many times have it worked? 0. Then how come you're looking at John Elite's students during inflation, one late testimonial after another? It just kept happening. Every single day I had a new late testimonial, almost like 10 a fucking week late in poll. How the fuck did that happen? I posted so many fucking late testimonials in the community section. You ignored it. How the fuck did that happen? It's impossible. Give it a thumbs up if you're getting it. They're not posting anything. And only in a boot camp, when the students learn how to use a New Delhi grape, they can just declare, oh, my students don't use New Delhi grape. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They'll cut that part out. So everything that they show beforehand does not matter. You will not get laid. You always go into their boot camps, and you'll feed them 5.6K per head for a boot camp. They'll just keep stacking that up. It's a lot of work to teach a boot camp. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of work. They still have to fly to your location. That takes expenses out of it. The plane ticket, the hotel. But still, they get 5.6K a head. That's how they see it. That's the math. Your bags of money. Your bags of money. Okay? So, yeah. So start using Elite Access tomorrow. I know you got 5 lays under my coaching and 3 months to proficiency, right? But then you're ego tripping so hard and you're mentally shutting down like the other Chinese students because, they got their needs met. Yeah, so start using Elite Access tomorrow. I know you got 5 lays under my coaching in 3 months. Yeah, this is a student. I'm going to post his testimonial soon. Okay? He got 4 lays in Mexico, 1 in Toronto, and also fingered another woman in Toronto right before he went. But now he's ego tripping so hard because he got so much results. So let's continue. So it all depends on the lay testimonials. This is exactly like Andrew Late mentality. Step 1 from moose to goose, turn the people out, right? For the webcam business, you must turn the person into goose first. The Daygame products don't work. You're missing the New Delhi grape game or the status maxing. There's different funnels. They release one product after another. Let me ask you a question. How come they release like 5 or 6 products and none of it works? None of it works. Have you noticed that? Is that a coincidence? I'm talking to Bench. I know you don't want to listen to it. You drop off, but you're not dropping off now. I'm asking you guys a question. How come in 5 or 6 products, none of you are getting laid from it? Is that a coincidence? How the fuck is that possible? That it rarely happens. If it does happen, it's only because of luck. Because there's no New Delhi grape game. Do you understand that? This is what you don't want to hear. It's the truth. So because you have this mentor worship mentality. And then they femise the geese. What if all this is intentional design? And it's like an intelligent design. Who knows? Maybe I already know this information. Who knows? Maybe I know. Maybe, just maybe, I got wind of this information because maybe they even said it themselves. Maybe they think it's possible. I wouldn't say who, because nobody knows. Nobody cares. But what if they actually said that I get more late testimonials because I put more stuff in the products that works, but they get more in a boot camp? It's not true, actually. We're pretty much like tied for late testimonials and boot camps. I have more, but they'll eventually because I'm not teaching them any boot camps, but I have more for products and boot camps. Doesn't matter. So the point is that what if that was their plan? Their plan is just to get everybody into boot camps because they're gaming you. You think by them being Machiavellian that they're going to stop gaming you? They'll declare, they're not gaming you. They care about you. Don't listen to what they say. Follow the money. Look at what they do. Look at what they do. I'll say the Bencho Indians. Don't look at what they say. They can say anything, split their eyes, use authority switch on your brain, and then gaslight you. Let's continue. So basically, let's change the camera angle. So it's pretty cool. I have like 2 webcams, right? There it is. I should get a 3rd webcam, right? I have a different camera angle. So, but what if it's intentional design? It doesn't work. So they famous the goose and they fatten you with a mentor mentality, and then you worship authority. They say some unverified lay counts as if you can get that much alcohol into women to drink it. Come on now. Once you've given them the authority, you automatically trust their half-truths. They fatten the sheep now as much as, with as much dog shit They're fictional dog shit. They pump it into your brain, and they'll come back to gaslight you. So you get stuck. They're using the half-truth pill, just like Andrew Late, which using illegal means to make money and launder the money with casinos and using webcam business, turning women out with the lover boy method. If that were true, allegedly, then imagine Andrew Late is like, you're all brokies, but I don't care if I'm not as rich as him. If he is illegally doing that to women, I'll be proud to not do that. If they were using New Delhi grape game and wrestling with drunk women, New Delhi graping her, Rajasthan style, and then she submits to him, and then later on takes to his side, do the Stockholm syndrome, I am proud I don't teach my students that. That's why I got 569 LAPO testimonials. Without the New Delhi grape sociopath game of famoosing the goose, famoosing the geese. That's what they do. They get you every single time with the half-truth pill. So if they brag about this mentor mentality, calling you brokies or whatever, they're the best coach, they have game. They have zero game in my eyes. They have zero game because it's illegal. Anything illegal is not game. It's like the first principles, you know? The first principles was, remember how I taught you about the first principles? What are the fundamental truths? So they're thinking, how did I get her into the bedroom? Well, first of all, I got to keep the door locked on the inside so she cannot escape. That's how they think. Looping is different because looping is like, it's like a judo. Okay? You got to grab the uniform. I acknowledge is how you grab it. And then you got to loop it until it's thrown over your shoulders. So you keep dealing with the objections over and over. So if she has to go, say, I acknowledge that you have to leave, or go home, but your home or my home. So you got to loop it over and over his shoulder. But you don't stop here. You don't just karate chop it, dealing with compliance threshold. You keep looping it until it's over your shoulders. But listen, I'm going to go grab a coffee. Doesn't cost a lot of money. And we get to know each other for a little bit more, for a few more minutes. I can literally afford this coffee for you. And besides, you can leave at any time. What's the worst that can happen? You can make a new friend, right? So it doesn't really matter. So therefore, you can see she's only halfway over your shoulder now. You get it? Half. But listen, you can leave at any time, right? If you're bored or anything like that. But I promise I'm not going to make this boring. I'm going to flirt a little bit. Besides, you find me very attractive, don't you, right? You find me very sexy. I find you like that too. But I just want to see how it goes. Like I said, I'm busy. So therefore, I can only spend a little bit of time with you. She said, okay. Boom. The objection is thrown. It does not mean like throwing her. It means throwing the objection. I'm not Andrew Late. John knows what I'm talking about because I do. Marco here has already 6 lays. He already has 2 girlfriends at the same time. He's already has fuck buddies that turned to girlfriend recently. He has another girlfriend now. Marco has a really hot girlfriend. Okay. So don't talk about that kind of stuff. I want to keep some of the supplementation a secret. Okay. I'm just going to remove that comment. Okay. Because I don't want people to know about the secret sauce of how my students are able to focus. Let's continue. So they get women to submit with their Stockholm syndrome, where they side with the captors. Once famous the goose, then they famous the geese. They turn out the sheep into a slaughterhouse. This is why you're always in our boot camps with this mentor mentality. Mentor mentality. Not all mentors are good. Kobe Bryant cannot coach. Mayweather Jr. cannot coach. Elon Musk cannot coach. So shut the fuck up. Stupid. It doesn't automatically mean they can coach to that degree. Look for either a mentor, a coach, or a teacher, right? Find out which one gives you the best results. It all depends on what you're doing. It's not just bro science, like the biggest weightlifter with the most steroids is the only option. The Bencho Indians need to see that there's more than one options besides the mentor myth. So where they're boot camps, they just come in there to learn the alcohol crutch or borrow coach's status maxing. You're not here to borrow the coach's status. Go on a ride. It's not Jurassic Park ride. But when you go back home, you're stuck again. Unless you keep using alcohol. She has to drink. So they cut that part out of their infields. So it doesn't matter because everything before the game crutch and then bedroom at that point on Instagram, social media close does not work. All the tactics without the game crutch does not work. So it's not transferable. So this is how they famous the goose and famous the geese. You fall for it every time. Like I said, setup game. If you guys can do it, that's great. But I can't do it. I have the money to run setup game. I don't have the energy. I'm an entrepreneur. I can fly anywhere I want in the world. Not a problem. But I don't have the energy to do it. My students do not want to do it either. This is not the only option. If you can do it, good for you, right? Great. But is that transferable? I personally, in my opinion, I don't think it's that transferable. So here's a solution. Social skill, social calibrations, emotional control, whitewash tonality. You always have a third funnel. The Indians that you guys know, right? You all have an Indian friend who's good with women, who gets white girls, Latinas. He has a white girlfriend or a wife. And they have a square jawline or rectangular jawline. They're around 5'10", 5'10 and a half. And white women loves them. You always have that one friend. That is the funnel I'm trying to teach you. There's a big difference between 2 out of 10 perceived natural status, Bencho Indian, versus whitewash Indian, 4 out of 10. There's plenty of room for you to grow. If you can get over your fucking inner game issues, your belief in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. Use my system, automatic. It's 20 out of 35. It's that simple. Just learn how to be like your fucking friend. There's a third funnel that nobody knows. So if you keep using alcohol, you're always going to tell yourself you're not enough as an Indian. If you use alcohol, you can't even get Bencho Indians away from alcohol. They always have to grab onto it. Even my other students recently, that are Indians and 3MP, they can't stop the fucking alcohol thing. They're finally stopped. You can let go. They always have to. Because in their mind, they're not good enough. It's fucking up your inner game. I'm giving you the social skills, the social calibrations, whitewash tonality. My Pakistani mentor dressed like a white guy. He talks like a white guy. He's the best day gamer I know. He's my mentor. That's why I call him Pakistani mentor. He's the best of the best of the best. He's the Michael Jordan. Other people that claim they're the best, I don't think they're the best. I just think they're full of alcohol and they're doing illegal New Delhi grape game. They have zero game. You take away a New Delhi grape game in the bedroom, the alcohol, they have no results. Liars. Oh, the game. That just debunks game. If they use alcohol in the bedroom, it debunks game. That means game does not work without the alcohol, the conversion mechanism, the crutch. Therefore, it's all a lie. All a fucking lie. And they got you. I mean, think about this one. The first time you get fooled, you say, fool me once. Shame on me. But here they are. Again, after the pandemic, they released another course during inflation. Fool me twice. Shame on you. How many times must you fall for this mentor mentality, this mentor mentality, and get fucked up the ass every fucking time, and you keep failing? How many fucking times does it have to happen? Stupid. All right. Like I said, I have inner circle class to teach very soon. 5:34. Shit. I still got 25 minutes. Let's move forward. How do you get over your inner game issues? Okay. That's a great question for Indians. Number one, you must actually decide to win. When my students decide to win, they always pull women home. One of my Indian students, I have not shown you yet on the community's part, it's because I've been hiding it from the public. I've been withholding lay testimonials from you. I've been withholding it from you. So if you look at one of my students, he actually pulled home a Megan Fox looking woman right here in 3MP. He was about to fuck her. She's in the bathroom. Her other two hot friends are outside. Look. Right here. No bullshit. Let me cover the lights. He literally, he's about to fuck a Megan Fox. If he actually closed her, right? All the Indians in the world, right, will bow down and say, you are a god. He was so close. He didn't know how to deal with the objection. Because if her friends are outside and he's with her in the bathroom and he's trying to get a blowjob and fuck her, that's how good they become. Do you understand that? It's not difficult. He's on vacation now in Asia, unfortunately. But number one, you must believe in yourself. You must decide to win. You should write that down. If you're Indian and you're using my technologies, Elite 30 or Kaizen, number one, decide to win. Most Indians have not made a decision. That's why their inner game are fucked. Number 2, as I tell them, you gotta visualize the success. They can't see themselves fucking a Megan Fox Ukrainian like her. This is in Canada, by the way. They can't picture it because they never seen it happen in their life. Because they can't picture it, they get inner game issues. Number 3, you must feel the emotions to change the frequency in your vibe to attract them into your life. The universal chef in the universe. This is why Andrew Tate and other people, when they use the universe, they always get canceled. Because, a bad tree cannot bear good fruits. Nothing bad happens when I use the universe. I just get more late testimonials if I want to, anytime. So you need to get the emotions right. So if the universal chef is always giving a burnt sandwich, it says, I read your thoughts and feelings, your manifestation index. Remember the 5 mindsets? Teachability, changeability, skills, belief, and manifestation. If your belief is fucked and your manifestation is fucked, your thoughts and feelings, then you're always fucked. You'll just get a burnt sandwich. That's why you always come up short. However, if you believe you can do it, you visualize it, and you have the skill index, which is the 3rd one, because if you believe in yourself that you can do it, because your friend can do it, the Indian guy with the rectangular jawline, 5'10.5". If he can do it, you can do it. If you believe, you visualize, you build the skills more. Your teachability and changeability is higher. You don't cock block yourself. Then your frequencies are right, and then you can collect the lay. That Megan Fox should have been his. Now he's going to see her after he's done with his Asian trip. But that's not good enough because there's a lot of time that went by. She can change your mind at any point. He was so close. But all this time, always cock blocked because the only thing in their mind is because they're worshiping other dating coaches who claims that the only way to do it is through alcohol or status maxing. I'm not sure if he's in the fucking Asia because he wants to raise his status in his Instagram. I don't know. But you got to let go of the wrong mentors and listen to the right dating coach. That's what you do. So when you learn a secret game hack, alcohol, drunk women, New Delhi or Rajasthan grape game, it's a game of 20 out of 35. 10 for looks, 5 for money, 10 for status, social skills, social calibrations, emotional control, 2.5 points each. Total of 10 points. I'm not feeling good right now. I mean, yesterday I passed out for like fucking 20 hours. I couldn't even move my body. So I'm not all there today. I try my best. But this has to be made. You need 20 out of 35 for the algorithms, which will get you laid automatically without playing numbers game or using game crutches. So let's conclude this video. If it's too long, you will not watch it. So here are the big takeaways for every minority day gamer from today's videos. Number 1, teachers, coaches, mentors. The mentors or famous gurus doesn't always have the most student results on YouTube. You look at all the guys who are like famous gurus, right? That teaches you marketing. Is all their students successful? No, because they game their students and that's how they make their money. They New Delhi grape them. They famous the goose, they famous the geese. So therefore, they say they're the mentors. They're not the mentors. Sometimes you need a coach. Sometimes you need a coach. That's more important. Not a mentor. You need a coach, a good coach. So it all depends who can get you the results. Whether it's a teacher, it's a coach, or a mentor, you got to choose one. My Pakistani mentor cannot actually coach. Their day game courses don't work. That's the second thing. But they make you worship the mentor mentality so they can fatten you sheeps up. Then their boot camps is the slaughterhouse. Famous the goose, famous the geese. The third takeaway, they use game crutches like New Delhi grape game, alcohol, wrestling with drunk women to cause Stockholm syndrome like Andrew Tate. They teach you that in their boot camps. They say they're going to give you more of the secrets. That's why you weren't getting results. There is no secrets. I know exactly everything they teach. They look for women when they first approach. They look for the one that has nothing to do. That's the first secret. Number 2, they'll say, excuse me. And then a quick question. They'll talk about some kind of creative artistic vibe with some push-pull shit. Number 3, they're going to plow. They're going to talk as fast as possible, but you should be talking slow, not fast, because slower means alpha male. That's behavioral game because you don't care. That actually gets you the hook. So therefore, they'll go through rejections after rejections. But still, because they're selecting the set. Number 4, because they hunch like crazy for their students in them, they'll give you a million push-pulls to spike the attraction. But instead, the attraction can gradually build when you actually have good social calibrations from Elite 30 from Hard Case to Hero or Kaizen. For in the 6 to 8 minutes, they'll walk and talk with you no matter what. But for them, they have to spike the emotions. So they keep doing a bunch of flirts. So at first, they try to get her in a conversation as they're hunching to draw her in and do a million push-pulls and flirts. After that, they'll go for an Insta date. But first, they'll do this stupid my father routine. They'll say, my father told me that when I meet a woman at this street, exactly at whatever street right now, and they have this stupid routine. They're like, but, maybe she likes you, but just doesn't know it yet. But if she's dumb, she's got like, and you hold her hand like this, if she likes you, right? She'll leave her hand in your hand. And she'll like you, but don't know it yet. However, if she doesn't like you, she'll slap you across the face like this. You grab her hand like that. But since she likes you, that's why your hand is still in my hand. So they're trying to use this progressive escalation where they're trying to subconsciously move her into like liking him. Later on, they'll move up an escalation ladder. They only have 4 steps. I have 5. Get it? There's 2 escalation ladders. Number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, progressively. I'm basically telling you exactly what's in their boot camp, so you don't have to fucking take it. It's up to you. I don't care. But their products will not work. And all this is just mental bullshit. There's a better way without alcohol. All this will require alcohol. So their escalation ladder, the very first one is to grab the hand like this, and they'll lift it up and let go. Right? So that way, grab, let go. That's like a half escalation. Or they'll do a level 1 flirt. Then they'll teach you a level 2 flirt, which is a palm reading. My students don't want palm read anymore. Does that make sense? So you need that. And then when they're palm reading, they'll make this part right here. They'll squeeze it together. They'll talk about, you know what this means, right? It means you have a lot of kids one day. And then it's like, what do you mean by that? Can't you tell? You're supposed to have a lot of kids, but these days they have protection. That's why you don't have. They're trying to make it seem like a future procreation, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband material thing. Romance. So that's what you're learning in our boot camps. I know exactly every step. They talk about secret sauce, but I'm giving you the secret sauce. Number 3, they'll do a handhold. They'll eventually hold her hand, they'll let go, hold her hand, let go, or they'll do a level 3 flirt. Number 4, they'll go for a kiss. They say, I have a thought in my mind. They're like, what's the thought? Would you like to kiss you, right? They'll use the facial expressions. They believe they have game. They'll pull her back home. And then when they're back home, to deal with the thing, they'll do a pull talk. They'll keep talking nonstop until she walks into the elevator, up, whatever, occupying her mind. I know exactly all their tactics. I'm giving it all away. Why are you dropping off? So you don't want to take their fucking boot camp. And then afterwards in the bedroom, they're going to use alcohol, half Pepsi, half vodka. And then they're going to make her drink so much of it, they start wrestling with her. They call this bedroom escalation. Over here, they'll say you have to keep it below the level of New Delhi grape. Anything goes. If you can pin her down like jujitsu, eventually she will submit. That's what they'll teach you. It's illegal, by the way, because they haven't converted. The reason why my students convert is because the body language is 2.5 points. The social calibrations bring her to the body language. My students that already got laid, they don't even flirt and touch. They don't have to tease. That gradually builds attraction. They get her talking more. They can flirt if they want to, keep it like forward. Then eventually, there's a level 5 flirt. They don't have a sexual life. They don't have a level 5. I have a different system. And then at the very end, my students would also do the pull talk. So that's one thing that, that they do. They'll bring her back home, but they'll sexualize it to the max because they're using alcohol to deal with objections. My students have to sexualize it to the max so they get the right objections. So therefore, they can loop it like I taught you guys and then convert her and she will have sex because there's enough attraction being built, enough comfort over time, enough, sexual connection because of the body language. It makes her wet. The longer you can keep it. That's why 3MP students do very well. So it does not require New Delhi grape or alcohol. There's a no alcohol policy. Never again are my students allowed to use alcohol, ever. They'll be scolded. I'm giving you all their secrets. All right, let's continue. So they'll release Daygame courses during the pandemic, but it didn't work. It's intentional. The sheeps are no longer buying into that mentality, mentor mentality, since they're wising up to this scheme, especially the Bencho Indians, because they've been fucked in the ass so many times, failing over and over. They're starting to see a pattern here. They don't realize there's a third funnel. Like Steve Jobs, the general, not the soldier, or the guy who controls the orchestra is more important than the guy who's a musician who claims he's a great mentor. Me as a day game coach is more important than being the best soldier or the mentor or the musician. I'm the best general with 569 Leipo testimonials. The point is, you can do this without having to depend on the mentor mentality. So if they can do it, you can do it. BS. There is a teacher, a coach, and the mentor. Sometimes a dating coach is more effective than the day game mentor. That's all I gotta say. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys enjoyed today's, lesson. Never ever have the mentor mentality as the only option. Johnny Lee, I got a class to teach. Okay. Shit, in 10 minutes. Good thing I made it on time. No, you should not have white frosted tips, right? As an Indian, you should have a whitewash hairstyle. All my students have exactly the same hairstyle. They have to keep it up week after week. That's the only way they pull in close for Indians. It's the only way. Every other hairstyle you use, the algorithm will not work. This is done without New Delhi grape or status. So therefore, everything matters. When my students wear like a long black coat or something, they fuck up. Never do that. That's all I gotta say for today. This is under like 1 hour, right? So I'm gonna cut up this video into pieces like a steak, right? Like a ribeye, like a filet mignon, and release piece by piece. Anyways, I hope that was educational. If that's a real word, educational. So for Indians, like I said, forget about the mentors. Whoever can get you the results is the most important. Stop being funneled to boot camp as the only option. John Ely out.